The story begins with an elderly drunk man named Flugger digging up a grave marked with religious symbols. He appears to be carrying out a mysterious ritual. Eventually, he retrieves a human skull from the grave, which suddenly releases a cloud of white smoke that knocks him down. When he regains consciousness, Flugger laughs triumphantly, suggesting that he has successfully completed whatever ritual he intended. The narrative then shifts to a teenage boy named Kelly, who is browsing inside a convenience store. It becomes clear that Kelly has an unusual habit of chewing paper, which has earned him the cruel nickname Trash Can from his classmates. While shopping, he notices his childhood friend and secret crush, Dominique, but feels too shy to speak with her. Outside the store, Kelly encounters his bullies, Nelson, Tony, Reed, and Brad, who mock him for eating strange things such as paper and styrofoam. Dominique intervenes and tells him to leave him alone, but this only angers him further. They shove Kelly's head into a trash bin until the store owner steps in and drives him away. Afterward, Dominique offers Kelly a ride to school, but her friend Sarah, who owns a car, refuses to allow him inside because she worries he might make the car dirty. Later at school, Kelly discovers that the bullies recorded the earlier humiliation and posted it online. As he walks through the halls, other students laugh and ridicule him. When he returns home that day, his mother Bernice asks how school went. Kelly hides a bullying and instead happily mentions that Dominique spoke to him for the first time. Bernice becomes excited and encourages him to ask Dominique out on a date. Meanwhile, an indigenous man named Red Elk visits the grave that Flugger had disturbed and offers prayers. He realizes that a powerful spiritual force hidden within the grave has been stolen. Saddened and concerned, Red Elk recognizes that he was responsible for protecting that sacred power. The following morning, Kelly becomes sick after consuming large amounts of paper and styrofoam. Bernice calls a family doctor, who recommends psychological help for Kelly's strange eating disorder. The doctor also hints that Kelly might be acting out because there is no male figure in the household, though in truth, he is secretly interested in Bernice. Around the same time, Flugger arrives in town claiming he possesses healing powers. He demonstrates this ability by curing an elderly woman's joint pain. Bernice happens to witness the miracle and becomes convinced that Flugger might be able to help Kelly, so she invites him to her home. Before leaving town, Red Oak confronts Flugger and warns him that the power he has taken does not belong to him. He offers to help remove it, but Flugger refuses. During their confrontation, Red Oak is injured because the stolen power protects Flugger from harm. Red Oak warns that the power will bring consequences, yet Flugger ignores him and walks away. When Flugger later visits Bernice's house and tries to heal Kelly, he suddenly experiences intense pain and pulls his hand away. After taking a strange drug in the bathroom, he attempts the healing again. However, during the attempt he accidentally burns Kelly's chest with a cigarette and suddenly collapses and dies. Strangely, as Flugger dies, Kelly's illness disappears and he feels stronger than before. The police arrive and determine that Flugger died from cardiac arrest. Soon after, Kelly notices that the burn mark on his chest has healed completely, and he begins to experience physical changes. It becomes clear that Flugger's mysterious healing powers have somehow transferred to him. The next day, Kelly accidentally cuts his finger while fixing his bicycle, but the wound instantly heals. When he tries to explain this to his mother, she does not believe him. On his way to school, Dominique and Sarah are surprised by how healthy he suddenly looks. Later, Reed approaches Kelly and attacks him, but something unusual happens. Every time Reed punches Kelly, Reed himself feels the pain instead. Even when he tries to hit Kelly with a wooden block, he ends up hurting himself. Realizing he cannot win, Reed eventually runs away. That evening, Reed's father, Gus, who is also the school's football coach, visits Kelly's home to complain about what happened to his son. Kelly calmly explains that Reed attacked him first, but Gus refuses to believe him and argues with Bernice until she forces him to leave. After Gus leaves, Kelly finally reveals his strange ability to his mother, explaining that any pain inflicted on him is transferred back to the attacker. He proves this by holding a lit cigarette lighter to his hand, without injury. At school the next day, Kelly's thoughts wander when he finds Dominique's hairband and begins fantasizing about her romantically. Unexpectedly, his thoughts somehow affect Dominique and Sarah in real life, causing both girls to feel unusual sensations that leave them confused and embarrassed. Later at a party, Nelson behaves disrespectfully by lifting Dominique against her will. Kelly confronts him and demands that he let her go. But before the situation escalates, Gus intervenes and separates them. Gus warns Kelly that he will eventually discover the source of his power and destroy it. That night, Brad and his friends attempt revenge by trying to run Kelly off the road with their car. However, Brad loses control and crashes into Kelly. While Kelly emerges completely unharmed, Brad suffers a fatal head injury. When the police arrive, Kelly quietly tells Dominique about his powers. Nelson and the others lie to police, claiming Brad swerved to avoid Kelly. Officer Adler investigates and concludes Kelly is not responsible. Meanwhile, Red Elk learns of Flugger's death and examines the grave. He realizes that the power must have left Flugger before he died. After hearing about Kelly surviving a car accident, Red Elk suspects the truth and visits Kelly at work. Eventually, Kelly admits that Flugger tried to heal him. Later, Kelly and Dominique share lunch together at a cafe and discuss movies. Dominique secretly hopes Kelly will ask her out, and to her delight, he invites her to watch a movie with him soon. However, Nelson and his friends resent Kelly's happiness and decide to avenge Brad's death. One night, after learning Bernice's work schedule, the bullies plan to scare her by dragging Kelly's trailer home with their truck. Unfortunately, Bernice is still inside when they begin pulling the trailer. The violent movement damages the trailer and breaks a gas pipe inside. Bernice tries to escape but trips over a lamp, which ignites the leaking gas and causes a massive explosion. When Kelly returns home, he desperately searches the burning trailer, but finds that his mother has already died. The devastating loss leaves him emotionally shattered. Officer Adler later notices Kelly's severe burns and sends him to the hospital. Red Elk visits Adler at the hospital and tries to explain Kelly's supernatural ability, but Adler dismisses the idea for the moment. After miraculously healing from his burns, Kelly attends his mother's funeral, where Dominique comforts him. Kelly reveals that he plans to leave town, and after an emotional goodbye kiss, Dominique leaves. Later, Kelly visits Flugger's grave and eats a strange weed growing there, hoping it will remove his powers. Instead, it makes him violently ill. Sarah secretly witnesses this from a distance. Soon afterward, Adler drives Kelly to social services and mentions details about the trailer accident. Realizing the trailer had been dragged before the explosion, Kelly becomes convinced that his mother's death was not an accident. When Kelly later sees Nelson and his friends driving the same truck, he realizes they are responsible. He secretly follows them to a riverbank. While Tucker is swimming, Kelly uses Tucker's shirt to strangle himself, causing Tucker to drown due to Kelly's pain transfer ability. Kelly then reveals himself to the shocked bullies before escaping when Adler arrives. That night, Kelly tells Dominique about his plan for revenge, but she urges him to get the bullies to confess instead of killing them. Kelly reluctantly agrees. The next day in chemistry class, Kelly provokes Tony in hopes of forcing a confession. Tony loses control and throws acid at him, but the attack backfires due to Kelly's powers, causing Tony to burn himself fatally. Dominique becomes furious with Kelly for causing another death. Later, Sarah tells Nelson about the strange weed she saw Kelly eat at the cemetery. Believing it weakens him, they collect the plant to use against him. During football practice the next day, Kelly confronts Nelson while threatening to injure himself with an electric drill, so that Nelson will feel the pain and confess. Nelson sprays the weed juice on Kelly, weakening him briefly. Despite Adler's pleas to stop, Kelly drills into his own knee until Nelson confesses the truth. At that moment, Dominique arrives and convinces Kelly to stop. In the chaos, Gus grabs Adler's gun and shoots Kelly in anger. Because of the power's effect, both Gus and Nelson are shot as well and die. Afterward, Dominique persuades Kelly to get rid of the supernatural power. Adler agrees to help and brings Kelly and Red Oak back to the graveyard. Red Oak performs a ritual and explains that Kelly must die for the power to be released. As tensions rise, a police officer accidentally shoots Kelly, Dominique, and himself. Mortally wounded, Kelly kisses Dominique as she dies. To destroy the power, he eats Flugger's preserved heart. Adler then shoots Kelly, finally killing him. In the final scene, the police transport the bodies of Kelly and Dominique in a van. Suddenly, Dominique awakens, revealing that Kelly's healing power has now passed on to her. I'm sure you enjoyed this recap. Please subscribe and follow for more.